I have got 3 really neat ideas for you today on how you can make a passive income or income from home that basically doesn't require a lot of skills. Now, obviously, you have to learn how to do certain things, but in general, it's not like you have to be educated in these areas. They're easy to implement, and you've got to put some time in, but they're kind of cool. So 3 ideas so you can earn money. I know you're looking for something, that's why you're watching this video. I know when I first started out, I was always looking for what's the best way for me to make money, and it took time to get to where I'm at now. But the first one is called arbitrage. Now, you might say, what is arbitrage? A-R-B-R-I-T-A-G-E. It basically means, okay, did you ever go buy a car for $1,000 and then maybe sold it to your neighbor for $2,000? You kind of, shuffling and being that middleman. That's called arbitrage. And you might be saying, well, how does that work online? Well, I used to do it with eBay and didn't even realize that's what I was doing. I remember years and years ago, back in like 2003, I moved from one state to another with 2 young girls. I was recently separated, just bought this house that needed tons of work, and I didn't have any money and to fix it. I was house poor. I bought the house, had 2 kids to raise, and no money to fix the house. Well, I had been involved with Longaberger baskets, and you know how that is when you get multi-level marketing. All of a sudden you've got a house full of the product, and I had a bunch of baskets, and I'm like thinking, I'm not going to use all these baskets. So I started selling them on eBay, and I made really, really good money. So I had bought something, kept it for a while, and then sold it. Well, that wasn't the end of it. And I kept thinking, man, this is really a great way to make money. I love to go to yard sales. We love to go to auctions, and we went all the time. So I started paying attention on eBay what was selling. And I'll give you another example. These little toys called Polly Pockets. I remember they're real tiny, and it was very popular back then in the early 2000s, 2003, 2004. And so I would buy, like, people would say, I'm going to sell them all. They'd sell like a huge lot, and I'd pick the lot of Polly Pocket little toys up for maybe $56, which to them, that's great. They got it out of the house. They made 56 bucks. Well, then I would take them and separate them. They were these little houses and had little people and stuff, and I'd make them into like 10 different units and end up selling them for 20 bucks a piece. So I was at one time making like $2,000 a month on eBay by doing that. I was going out and buying things, paying attention to what was selling and buying them at yard sales, and then turning around and selling them on eBay. So I really didn't have much of an investment per se, except for buying the item, and then I got my money back. I even had a neighbor that would buy, he laughed. I used to watch his kids. I babysat as well at the time. And he'd come by, we got to talking about eBay, and he said, oh, I buy car parts. He goes, I'll go find like rusty car parts and stuff, and then I'll bring them home and make them all shiny. He was into cars. I knew nothing about it. I wouldn't have known what to buy. But he said, I made them all shiny and would turn around and sell something I picked up for 10 bucks for $100, just because I took the time to clean it up and make it shine. So that's basically what you're doing. Now you're saying, well, how am I supposed to do this online? I don't want to go to yard sales, and I don't want to do all that. Well, basically, with online marketing, everybody is looking for people to outsource. I'm going to fix this a little bit there. Everybody's looking for people to help them with things. You start getting so busy that you have to hire people for something. And one of the first places people hire out is graphic design. They don't know how to make their thumbnails, or they don't know how to make their YouTube banner or the channel banner, just things like that. Or maybe they don't want to post on Facebook. There's people that will post for you, social media managers. Now you're still saying, yeah, but I don't want to do that. This is where you make money. The arbitrage person is the person in the middle. You find people on Fiverr.com, you can go to Upwork, any of those freelance sites, and find people that can do those things. And let's say you found somebody that can make thumbnails, and they said, I'll do them for $5 a piece. Over here, you have built an audience, and they know that you like graphic design, and you can help get them what they want. You sell thumbnails for $10 a piece. That's just an example. And so you've got your workers over here doing it for you, and you're over here selling it for more. The work that you're doing is finding the resources, finding the people that can do the work, and then over here finding the people that want the work. It's kind of like a construction manager. The construction manager doesn't really do anything except orchestrate the house for you. When you're having a house built, the construction manager basically makes sure that they get the plumber and the electrician and all of that, and they pay them, and then they turn around and charge you more. And yes, that's their fee. You might justify, well, they've done all that work. What's the difference? What is the difference? You as the middleman, you could call yourself an agency. You as the middleman, you're saving that person time to have to do the research to find somebody to do it. And you don't really need skills in those different areas, and people are looking for help in so many different areas. So look in those sites. I've got Fiverr.com. I've got the link below. You can go ahead and look in there and just kind of get an idea of what type of work people are offering, and then what can you offer to your audience. Now here's another one that you might not have ever thought about. Now it's not online, but it's something my husband and I actually started doing before the affiliate marketing business that we have now. Real estate. Now a lot of people say, but I can't afford to invest in real estate. If you are a first-time home buyer, you're qualified to buy FHA. You buy your first home. They're really kind to you. They let you buy your first home 3% down. Well, instead of looking for a single-family home, look for a duplex. Look for a fourplex or a threeplex. And what you do is you live in one unit and then rent the other two out. So one, you've got your rent paid. You don't have to come up with a payment. And two, the second unit is paying for the building, and the third unit could be an income to you. So you've got income coming in, your home is paid for, and you're running a business. You can, live there for 5 or 6 years until you're ready to buy your own single family home, and then you can continue to rent out. Now, you can do this through FHA, and FHA usually wants you to show income so that you can afford it. And if you're working a job now, obviously you'll use that, but you could also say, look, I'm going to have rental income from these other 3 units that will pay for it. Sometimes when you buy a duplex or a fourplex, there's already renters in there. Sometimes you buy them and you have to go in and fix them up. It just depends on where you're at, but that can be done, and you can start a passive income business. Now, I'm going to forewarn you here. My husband and I did not do it that way. We were beyond first-time home owners, but what we did is we turned in an equity loan on the home that we have, and we took that money at that low 3% because it was an equity and we had good credit, and we put that money down on a duplex, and then we rented out the place. Now, you're still paying for the place if you have to put money into it. I don't want you to be deceived and think that you're going to go buy a duplex and right away it's income, because you've got to pay for the duplex. So it's not really profit until the building's paid for, if you think about it. Unless you have 4 units, that's a little bit different. We have a duplex. It is paying for itself. It pays the property taxes, it pays the building fees, and it's paid any construction fees that we've put into it. So down the road, we were just talking the other day, 10 years from now, everything's pure profit coming in. Once everything's paid off, and will be there for our retirement if we choose, or we can sell the building. So especially if you're young and you've never had a home before, I can't stress enough how that is a fantastic way to have a place of your own and rent the others out. Now, you're going to run into, that's just part of life, that maybe you won't always get the best renters, but do some research and make sure you've got the right contracts in place and the right background checks and things like that. We've been pretty fortunate in that regard. So that's income number 2. Again, we had no skills. We did not know what we were doing, and everything's online. All the leases, background checks, everything's right there for you. The third way is called AdWords. Now, if you Google AdWords or Apple right now, just go ahead and do that. I'm not on my computer, sorry. I thought I'd be out here. Since we're talking about work from home, I thought the best thing to do is show you outside instead of sitting at my desk. I don't like doing that all day long. But if you go in and Google Apple, you're going to see that there's an ad that pops up on the right side of your screen. I don't know if that's my right, it might not be your right, but on the right side of your screen when you're looking at your laptop and you Google Apple, you'll see an ad there. Well, Apple puts out ads for their own product. There are some large corporations that do not run ads like that. They count on other people to run the ads. Maybe they have affiliate marketers, and they'll allow them to run ads. And you have to do a little bit of research, but if you find an affiliate marketing company that you're working with, see if they're running their own ads. And if they're not, contact them and see if they'll give you permission to run ads using their name. And 9 times out of 10, they'll say yes, because they want you to sell their product and you get to run ads. And again, that becomes kind of passive because you're running an ad that when it gets searched, it's right there. Like Apple, search it right now. That ad is running and it's right there. So if you find something, do some research that nobody else is running ads for and the company's not running ads, you can be the one to be running those ads. And you're probably thinking, yeah, but then I have to spend money. You can start out with just a small amount of money to run those ads, and once that income starts coming in, turn around and put all that money right back into ads so that it eventually it'll pay for itself. And the more ads you run, the more money you make. And you always want to use the 50-50 formula. If I pay $1 for an ad, I want to make sure I get $2 out of it. I want to make sure I double my money, and then you know you're doing well. So those are 3 ways. I just think they're a little bit different than a lot of the things that you've been hearing online. I was very excited, especially about the first one, creating that agency, getting that real estate. Everybody thinks a lot of times to go into real estate that they have to go, purchase these big buildings, and it doesn't. If you listen to anybody, I think it's Grant Cardone was sharing his story, his very first, I'm pretty sure it was him, sorry if I'm wrong, but I thought it was him sharing his story that he bought a single unit and was renting it out, and what encouraged him to get double units was, he goes, I had this ranch and I was renting it, and then all of a sudden the renters were gone, and then all of a sudden I had to pay the rent. And he said he freaked out. He didn't have the money. So from that point on in his career, he said, I always looked for duplexes or fourplexes or something bigger. Now he's buying big apartment buildings, but start out, always have 2 or more units so that there's always income. I definitely would look for a 4-unit building. Now, tax-wise, just to give you a tip, if you go into 4 units or more, you have to become a corporation. If you want to be a proprietor, you go with the proprietorship for your taxes, or just an LLC, a partnership or something like that, then it has to be 3 units or less, and you can run up to 8 units total on your taxes as a proprietor. Okay, so if you're starting to get bigger, then you're going to have to become incorporated. That's a whole nother ball game. It's not hard to do, but I just wanted to throw that out there. If you didn't want to get incorporated yet, then just look for a duplex or a triplex. Stay away from the 4plex if you don't want to mess with your taxes. All right, hopefully that was helpful. Give me a thumbs up, give me a comment below if any of this has helped you, or if you've ever tried any of these. Give us some more insight into that, and definitely subscribe. I give you a video just about every day of the week, and to help you build your business, help you get some content so that you can make money online and take your life back. Stop going to work every day and waiting for somebody else to pay you, and somebody else telling you when you can stop working and when you have to be there. You want your life back. You want to be able to be productive on your time and not theirs, right? That's why we're all here.